Hi, welcome to movie 14. We are going to fix a little boo-boo on the shirt, and then we're going to get right into this arm that is over here on this side right there. I want to paint the whole arm and fingers for you, so that's what this movie will be called. Then we're going to do the rope. Then when everything is in place, including probably one movie for the lace in the arm over here on her left-hand side, we are going to do the hair, which I already have a lot drawn. I've already gone in my channels palette and I deleted a lot of the channels so I had room to do some things on the arm. I'll show you right now. What I did was I created an arm dark channel. I saved the color in the swatches palette. As you can see, I'm bringing over here. These 5 or 6 arm colors are ranging from arm dark to arm 2. I actually named it arm dark 1, arm 2, arm 3, arm 4, which is the yellowish areas, it should be arm 5 highlights, but it's okay. So it goes, you know, about 4, 5, or 6 color ranges are going to help me paint that arm, but I have to give it a strong foundation of color, okay, which means almost solve the entire thing and only use it for the minimal texture, just like the freckles on the face. But let's click back over to the clicky copy and let's take away the clicky copy, and I'm going to put the swatch palette on the other screen so I can grab it easy, and I'm going to zoom into this area right here, and I'm going to show you that I found out that that was on the arm fill layer and on this other layer right here. So it's actually on shirt 2. Let me turn off the arm fill. See how it's on shirt 2 and it's on the other layer. So what I have to do is click. I added a layer mask to this shirt fill layer. I'm going to zoom in and I am going to draw, make sure that I have no other paths selected. So I'll actually make a new path, and I'm going to just do a very quick path through here just so I can maneuver it like this. That's fine. Come around on this path like this, a little deeper maybe, and close the shape. Then command click the path, and where did it go? Okay, command click the path. It's on path 1 down there. I didn't even name it. I'll give it a 1 pixeled feather just so it has a resolve. So Shift F6, 1 pixeled feather, Command H. Now I'll take the B key, make it slightly bigger. I could stay at 8, but I'll go to 20 just so it goes faster on the screen. And since I'm painting on the layer mask, look at how sometimes the foreground and background colors get to be black and black. You just need to make one white. If what I'm doing now is I'm changing it. This appeared on my other screen. Now I can toggle if I need to between black and white. But now you can see how I can go in and I can get rid of that shape completely. Now if it's not getting rid of completely, that means it's also on another layer. So I have to click to shirt fill 2 and get it off of shirt fill 2, or find out what layer it's on. So it could be on just a different layer. Let me make sure it's not on that layer. Okay, so I'll deselect, hit the V key, right hand click, and it's on layer 35 for some reason. Okay, I must have incorrectly a long time ago painted the something on the layer that I made, which was supposed to be all white. So I'm going to hit Command A to select all. See the layer I'm turning off right there? Actually, I can still see that shape right there. So that shape is somewhere else on here that I have to kind of locate, which won't be hard, but let me just double check and hit Command A to select all, hit the B key, Option key the white, and just hit Option delete. All right, well that didn't solve anything, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off all the shirt layers until I find the layer that it moves away on, and I see that it's still on shirt fill 2. So do you know why? I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know why it wouldn't have gotten rid of from this if I was painting black on the layer mask? Let me command click this again and add an F6 1 pixel feather. I just wanted to ask you, why do you think that's not getting rid of? The answer is because I probably don't have full black in my brush. So if I go over to here, you can see I didn't have full black. See where it is here? So I checked to see if it was on other layers, but I know that full black is the only thing that will actually get rid of all paint. So I was painting in a 90% grayish black. It's only going to get rid of 90% of it. So I needed to do that. Anyway, that is the kind of thing that'll stop a person cold and wonder, well, what is going on here? So I have to go back to the shirt area, turn everything else back on, and now I'm going to move over. Let me save the file. When I open this up to make this new number 14 movie, I actually saved as to a new file, so I could go back to the 13 one because I've gotten rid of all the face channels and the freckle channels and the eye channels. If I need them, I can just, and look, let's say that I opened up a new file, the old file, and I needed this arm dark channel to go over to the new file. All I would do would go over here, I'd click this little pop-up menu, go to duplicate channel, and I would change the destination of the file to the one I'm currently working on, and then it would put this channel, which I had deleted from the new file, it would put it back. So that's how you actually can make sure that you don't lose channels. Let me make sure I have something. There we go. You don't lose channels, just keep on saving as, and they're in your prior files. So what I want to do now is start with the arm. So let me go up to my arm fill, and I have here an arm fill with all the fingers. Let me find it on here, and there it is right there. So let me go arm fill. Let's turn on the clicky copy. Let's hit the B key, and as fast as we can, let's paint the medium values. Now I'm going to need, obviously, I don't have an arm layer or an arm folder, so I'm going to put it just above mouth so I can keep it highest to the top. And let me go arm underscore fingers. And then I'm going to make a bunch of layers inside. Now what I should do is just say fill one and just keep on saying, rather than get real definitive here, I'm just going to go 2, 3, 4. I may add different things to those layers, but I'm preparing myself for a bunch of layers that, what are they going to do? Let me add 1 because I don't like ending with an odd number. Make it 10. So now I have 10 layers. I'm hitting the return key, and I'm going to Command S the file again, and I'm clicking down to the fill button. Okay, forgot what I was going to ask you. I was going to make you say something, but I cannot remember. Oh, yes, I can. Why 10 layers? What is going to happen on the higher layers? The obvious thing is not just light or dark. It's going to be the smaller shapes. So I'm going to work my way to my fingernails and my wrinkles on the smaller shapes. Okay, so first things first. Let's find a medium value to color this. It's not going to be the light and it's not going to be the dark, so it's going to be like Goldilocks, just right. So let's go here and let's turn this off and let's hit Option Delete. Now there is a decent value to move in and out of the arm. Now let me see if there's another part of that arm on the other side, and there is not. So I now need a copy of that arm. So what I want to do is hit the M key. Let's make a copy. Whoops, it's in a ellipse. I need it in a rectangle. And let's make a slight copy of that. Not a slight, a rectangular copy of that. And let me go to hit Command J once I'm clicked on the clicky copy. Let's hit Command T since we don't need it so large. So I can just put it off to the side here. Now I can turn off the clicky copy, and I can keep on getting my colors that I need while clicking on and off the clicky copy. So we're going to go to the second layer. Now the second layer is going to help me to freehand the colors that I see that are in there. So I'm going to paint with this on, hit the B key, and I'm going to use my artist license. I'm painting at, well, was it 20? I'm going to go to 8. Let me make the brush bigger. I'm going to try to get this done in one movie. And I started this movie about 10 minutes ago, so I'm going to go to 20 after my hour. So let's start this color, and let's now work this color in all of these areas. Up where the thumb is, on the other side of the thumb. Whoops, I didn't need that guide. Let me move this down and zoom in. Okay, I'm going to work on this part of it here. Let's come around to here again. Let's come down here. I'm painting in about this value right here. Okay, right there that I'm pointing. So I can see what I'm doing in here. Now I can take this away and you can see how I'm getting slightly darker. Now you know that I don't care if I overspray the values, right? You know that, right? Because you know I can do what to that layer in a second. I can just clip it. So let me come around here. Let me freehand this, toggle the brush bigger and smaller as I go. And let's just now make sure I'm not in too small a brush or I'll get too streaky a value. I'm just trying to lay in my colors that are all the way through, that give me a strong foundation. So when I put in my texture layers, things start to look good. Remember, it's not going to look good till it's 75% complete. So let's work around the hand right there. Let's go right down the arm, right down this side of the arm. Make sure I'm still painting on layer 2. Let's go right near where the rope is, and let's come right down the rope. I don't see this highlight in there. That highlight's a smaller shape. So let's see what I've done so far. Let's now hold the Option key and clip layer 2 to there, and let's go clip all of them just so I don't have to do it again. Okay, and then I'll save the file again. Try to save the file every time I do something else. Now let's just work our way to our slightly darker value. So let's go to number 3 and let's turn this back on. Now let me go to the darker value and let's just lay in the darker value right next to that rope. Notice how only a little bit of my paintbrush, I have a larger paintbrush and only a little bit of it is actually touching beyond that part right there. Okay, that's starting to look good. Let's now get close, and I'm going to start to lay in where the wrinkles are. So I'm going to go to a 4th layer, and I'm going to call it Wrinkles. I might even call it Wrinkles 1. Now let's just start to paint. Let's go in here and let's just, I'm giving it the foundation for that color. So look at how I'm giving it that foundation. Let's come across to this wrinkle. I'm just painting back and forth, and let's grab that color and come in here a little bit. Let me grab this color. It's pretty much the same color that I'm using on this layer. And then if I go too far on this layer, or not too far, if I go far enough on this layer, what's the matter with making a new layer? Let's now see what I've got. Okay, I've started to lay in where the wrinkles are, which is going to be a really good foundation for the other values. Now let's start painting around this rope really nicely, right around the rope like this. Okay, obviously that's a very dark. So underneath that dark is this red. So watch how I'm going to get bigger with it like this. Look what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing. I'm going to flood this area with this color. Flood. I'm not going to waste time. Look at how big my brush is. Now I want to come down here and I want to put that same color right down this part of the hand here. Look at how I'm actually now building up to those values. Okay, that's the vision that I want you to try to do. That's the vision that I want you to see. In other words, I'm not seeing the little wrinkles, I'm seeing the colors underneath. And when I need to see the darker color there, I'm then going to concentrate on where it is and how much is it there. So let's go around this finger, bigger brush, and let's come around like this. Now I'm getting to the point where I should go to a new layer because I'm starting to put on a lot of paint, which means if I make a boo-boo, I'm going to lose all that stuff that I've done. So let me just flood this. Let's flood this. Let's come in here like that. Let's look and see. Whoops, turned off the wrong thing. Let's look and see how I've done. Okay, I'm going to go to double click Wrinkles 1. I'm clicking number 5 and I'm going to go Wrinkles 2. Now let's go to the other finger. I've actually segregated out each finger. I can make a selection of them. Look at how I can work on this finger, and I made a path of this finger as well. So next to this, I could start protecting this finger and going after the dark on this finger. I will, okay, but I'm going to add a slight feather to it. So let me go Shift F6 and add a 3-pixel feather to it. Hit Command H, and now I want to take on this new layer. I want to start laying out this value so I can separate the fingers from one to the other. Now some of this value actually appears on the top of that finger. Whoops, I was making a mistake. I was actually thinking I was painting on the other finger. So I'm Command-Zing back, not a big deal, not a big deal, okay? I have to make sure that I'm on the right finger. Okay, let me hit Command-H. All right, I was painting on this middle finger. I obviously wasn't on that. I have that path. I just want to just paint on, I'm painting on finger 1 and 3, if I can call it 1 and 3. So let me grab this color again, and now let's paint on. I didn't add my feather, so let's go Shift F6, a 3-pixel feather, and Command H to hide the selection. And now I'm really attacking, I'll call it finger 1. Okay, and finger 1 goes right along with the thumb. These little light areas, see, if I hold Command H on it, I'm not really painting. I could paint all over this area here, and I can't because I've segregated finger 1 out of the file. Now let me show you what I'm talking about. See how I've started to now lay in the values for this? So now let's get close. Let's now move along this. Let's now go to finger 1, 3, or whatever I call it, 1, 2, 3. So this is bottomless, I should call it the little finger. So now let's paint the little finger in here. And I am continuing to paint. Let's turn off the clicky copy to see what we're getting. It's looking good. It's supposed to look this rough, okay? Supposed to look this rough. Let me come across the top of this finger with this stuff. Not the texture, but the value. So let me just lay in the value across the knuckle. Now look at how I'm painting that nice little value right there. Boom, boom, boom. Let's come across the knuckle like this. Bigger brush, smaller brush. Let's go across the back of this hand finger with this value, so I get a little bit of that leftover darkness coming right off that finger. Okay, so see how I'm starting to get that finger to work out, and the values are there. Let's now take this finger and wrap it around like this. Down where the fingernail is going to be. Let's look and see. Okay, that's looking good. Let's now come across it like this. Okay, now let's do the same thing to the upper finger. So now I need to add more resolve to this upper finger. I'm going to grab this value. I'm painting on Wrinkles 2. Okay, not trying to do the little wrinkles. I'm just trying to get my foundation values in here. Let's keep on turning the clicky copy off and on. Oh, that's looking really good. Let's come around here. Let's now go back to this finger. And now I'll start laying in a few of these. Let me hit Command H to see where my finger is right there. Where my selection is what I should have said. Okay, let's come across here. Let's get a little bit darker here, a little bit darker there. Let's now see what we've got. Okay, that's good, that's good. Let's get a little bit bigger and come into this wrinkle here. Okay, let me now feather this out a little bit. I'm going to grab some of this value and we're going to feather back. Let's grab, whoops, I was holding the wrong key. Let's now resolve that a little bit back like this. Okay, now let's click on this finger right here. And let's resolve that a little bit. Let me look at this finger right there. This needs more tone right there. And now I can start putting a little bit of this back on the higher layers. Okay, I'm still working my higher layers. Now let me do the other fingers. These were fingers 2. Okay, now I've got this finger and the bottom hand. So now I'm isolating out this finger. I'm going to give it a Shift F6, 3 pixels on the feather, Command H to hide it. Now we concentrate on the same, actually I'm going to go to Wrinkles 13. I'm sorry, Wrinkles, oh, Wrinkles 3. I said this was Wrinkles 12. It's really Wrinkles 2. Let me hit Command S to save the file. So now I'm on a new layer. I can't make a mistake because all I have to do is throw away the layer. Now let's start to lay in this value. So let's come across this finger and let's now get that nice tone to come up here. Okay, that's good. And now let's work around the little knuckle area. Boom and boom. Let's grab this tone right there. Let's come across the whole front of that finger here. Remember, we're laying in the foundation. That's all we're doing, is laying in the foundation. Now let's start getting a little, I should have 2 layers on this, but I don't think this is going to take me that long. So I'm going to even get darker with it and smaller. So let's run around this, right around that layer. And now I can actually see what finger that is looking like right over here. So I can start getting a little bit darker right around that finger. And now right here. Okay, now what I would like is to do this part of the hand, and let's see a resolve on this part of the hand first. So what I'd like to do now is work on that part of the hand. Let me see where I have that. I think it's right here. Nope. Here. Nope. Here. Hand shape. That must be it. Nope. I know I drew it. And if I didn't, then I'm going to have to definitely do it. Now, about how I can actually do it is make a selection of the overall hand, Command Option subtract fingers 1 and fingers 2. Now, do you see how I did that? Now I have the exact selection that I need to paint in here because I subtracted it. What I should do is select it and say thumb area, just so I have it. Let me hit Shift F6. Let's go to 2 pixels on the feather and Command H to hide it. Now I'm really going to go to layer 7 and I'm going to say thumb 1. And in thumb 1 I'm going to start to lay in the colors. So let's start going a little bit past. I'm turning this off. I need to go towards this reddish pink value right in here. So I'm just going to, I call it flood. I'm not really flooding, but I'm maneuvering my paintbrush using the clicky copy to help me, and I'm going to lay in these values as they work their way down. I'm grabbing this value right now, right here, and I'm going to come down here. Now, yes, I said I'm putting more than one color on this layer. I could go, it only took me, look, it only took me a couple of seconds to do that. All right, now all I have to do is grab this. If I have to redo an hour's worth of paint, then we're talking, and I'll even say the word stupidity, okay, that I did not go to another layer. But I'm okay here. If I start coming back with some of these light values, oh gosh, I am definitely going to a new layer. So let me come through here and let's darken this. Now, I want to keep on clicking off the clicky copy so I really start to generate that neat dark in there. Now I may go just to thumb 2. Let me Command C, thumb 1, Command V, thumb 2, and now I am on a new layer. I still have the selection active, and now let's really start to lay in that dark right around the thumb area, right here. Let's really start to shadow that finger right off of it. So let's come in here. Now this needs Gaussian blurring right there. That's cool. That's a good amount, that's a good foundation darkness for this. Let's come around and see how much I need to do it here. First it goes to this red, so I'm going to zoom in. Look, first it goes to this red, so let's flood the red underneath all of this. It's not that there's red and then there's black, or dark red black. It's that the red goes underneath also the dark value. Now look at how I'm really getting that red to that dark value as it's coming through here. Now let's look and see over here how far we want to take it down on the rope. So let's come down like this. Now let's see if it we should really soften this part of the hand as it's going to go behind the hair. So I'm going to run my brush right around this part of the thumb, right around where the thumb goes into the hand. And now let's go back and see what we've got. Now let's really start to push this value. I'll go under finger. So the next one is going to be under finger. I'm only to the 30% completion stage. So if you're going to judge it right now, fine. I'm not, because I'm not to that stage yet. So I'm under finger. Let's now find the selection. Let me hit Command H to show you I wasn't working there. So what I want to do here is to see where the overall hand is. Let me think for a second. Okay, it's up here. Okay, I lost my fingers. Okay, there we are. Skin area, fingers 1. So let me go to the hand. Now I want to subtract. Where's my fingers? Oh, there they are. They were below. Let me subtract. Let me see what finger that is. Yes, I want to subtract that finger out of it. Now, I definitely, look, I am working right in this area right here. So I don't need anything else to do there. All I have to do is go Shift F6, keep on adding the 2-pixeled feather, hit Command H, and now I can work 2 colors onto that. So let me zoom in, and now let's do this color first. So let's come through here and let's just give the wrinkle a foundation of the color. Now let's fatten the brush so I don't get streaky on me. And now look what I'm doing. I'm starting to paint. Am I starting to paint in that area? Let me see. I should be. Maybe I am not painting in that area and I was only painting in that upper area. Make sure I didn't. Yes, you know what? I made a mistake. This is me saying I made a mistake. Okay, so let me Z back a couple more times. Okay, so I must have made a mistake. So if I have that finger selected, which now, I'm sorry, the whole hand selected, and no, I intersect, I subtract the finger, that should have worked. So if I subtract that finger, I am definitely painting in there. Must have hit Command Z back or something, I don't know. Okay, let me grab that tone. Let me turn this off and triple check that I'm painting. Okay, I am painting in there. I do not know why it wasn't painting in there a second ago, but regardless, let me go Shift F6, 2 pixels on the feather, Command H to hide it, and just go ahead and paint. So first I'm going to lay in the dark value, and we're going to make sure that I'm painting. Yes, I'm painting. So now I have to redo what I did. So I am going to, with people shooting fireworks around here, let me go in and now let's put in that red on this. Let's put in that red on this, and might as well work our way down. Let's put in the deeper red here. Let's put in the deeper red down this one. Sometimes the icon on the screen, even for me, disappears, and I know that I need to actually throw away the cache. So I'm going to go to Edit. It's going to take a minute. Purge all. I'm going to purge all the history states right now. So it's going to take a minute, and it's purging all the history states. And now Photoshop should run better, and I should have done that, but I didn't. So until now. So look at, I'm starting to put in all those neat little wrinkles. Now let's really start to lay in. I should have said under little finger. Don't know what else to call that. So let's go like this, and now I can start getting darker with that, which means my brush goes smaller, and I'm going to grab that wrinkle as it goes here. You really get pretty decent at maneuvering your electronic pen or your mouse, whatever you prefer to work in these areas. Remember, I'm on a layer all by itself. A definite layer mask will help to resolve these shapes. So now I definitely have enough value in there. Way too big on that wrinkle. Don't care, right? Don't care, because you know that a layer mask will get rid of it. So let's now get close on this, and let's start to lay in some of these little wrinkles and just get a little bit definitive with it. I want to come just a little closer to that rope with my dark. And then I'm going to fix that wrinkle, at least at this point of view. Now let me, at least at this point in time. Now let me turn on the clicky copy real fast. You see how, except for the yellows and everything else, I'm pretty resolved. Now look at this finger up here. I'm going to start to come back and see this dark area that's too dark. That's okay. That's what a fix-it layer is for, and or a layer mask. Now I'm going to usually go with fix-it layers above, especially on skin, and you can see just how nicely this thing is going to start to work. Let me first remove some of this dark on here, which I know should be on that layer right there. So let me deselect, add my layer mask. It's 217 already. Okay, I need to end this in another movie. So I'm gonna now we're gonna just thin down that amount of dark right there, and let me thin it. Let me look and see what her wrinkle's doing. Okay, that's actually really good. I need to up the red in there, but thinning down that dark is working very nicely. Let me come on this side of it and thin it down just a little bit, and now if I back off on that, I can really melt out that dark wrinkle there. Now we are going to go into, I'm going to need a lot more layers, so we're going to need and those layers should be clipped, even though they're going to be part of like the fingernails and everything else. And then I'm going to start right now. I'm actually going to start on layer 10 to bring off the soft, I'm going to say soft, no, lighter colors, lighter 1. So I'm going to command, it's a lighter exclamation point. Let me double click it, Command C, click this one, Command V, delete number 2, hit the return key, Command V, delete number 3, hit return key, Command V, delete number 4, hit return key, and let me go to lighter 1. Now, let's just use our artist license and start painting where we see we need to paint. So let's turn this back on. Let's take a little bit of this color and let's start to lighten up the top of that finger. Now look at how nicely I'm starting to melt that dark right into what it's supposed to be. Look at how nicely I've gone around that knuckle, and now we have a fairly good base value ready for, maybe ready for the fingernail. And I of course haven't gone dark enough here, so some of this color is actually going to help me everywhere. I'm not having any selection active, so I'm going to come through here and darken that color through here. Let's darken that color right over here. So yes, I called it lighter, but I'm actually using it as a fix layer too. It's just a general let's melt all the tone together layer. I'm not talking about these little yellow highlights yet. Those are little shapes, and those have to be done later. Soon later, but later. So let me look and see where my values are. I need to go darker right on this back of the finger, so let's go darker on that knuckle area. Let me turn this off. Oh, that's looking really nice. Now let's go darker on the top of that finger. So let's go top of the finger around this bottom area of the little finger. And now I've got that working pretty good. Now we get a little bit darker. Let me make the brush smaller. Remember, I'm only painting at 8, so I can't really flood it and hurt it. That's looking really good. In fact, what I'm doing here now that I've isolated it, you see on this little reference copy how I have that back here? Well, let's just increase that just a little bit. And let's come across this finger right here. Okay, now let's look at, see this value? I'll show it to you on the clicky. See this value right here? I need to flood that value in here, not the yellow value. I'll come back with the yellowish tone, which will be gorgeous, and I'll try to, I'm not going to use, I isolated that on a channel for use in a little bit, but I'm not going to, you know, totally rely on that. So now I need to do, I have lighter. I'm going to go arm. I'm going to work on the arm area, so I'm going to say arm, and then probably down here it says fill, so I really don't have any arm layers yet. So let me make, since it's clipped, it's not going to go outside the arm, so I just need to add a little bit of dark value before I even ever think about going back in with a the lighter highlight. So let's get closer to this edge. Let's come all the way down here with this dark. Let's now come, I'm going to zam that dark right there. Let me move in a little bit and make sure I have that dark, and now let's come straight down the arm all the way. Let me turn this off. That's pretty good. That tone and texture, that now I'm going to go to lighter number 2 because I painted on lighter number 1. Now I'm going to go right on top of this arm, and we're going to lighten up on that tone right through here. And just bring back that nice tone. Look where I'm pointing, right there. Okay, that's where I want it. Okay, so I've started to lay in all my foundation colors. Let's go to lighter 3, and I'll even say that this is the yellow. I don't call it yellow, I should probably call it warm, but let me hit Command S to save. And now let's just start to lay in that, not really looking at the real reference yet, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, I see that this whole area here has that yellow tone. Then it gets lighter, then the highlight actually comes in and gets a little darker. So there's maybe, it's not just yellowish tone there. I need to paint that yellowish tone here, right down on this side of the finger. And let's now see how I'm doing. Yeah, see how that nice yellow base is there? Okay, now I could probably put this layer on a mode. I should actually paint over that wrinkle. So, and I have to, you know, do a couple testings on different modes. You got to be careful on modes though, because then you can't bring back a highlight on that mode. But if I went to a normal mode to a multiply mode, way too much. Let me just go to overlay. Now that's what I'm talking about. That's beautiful. Actually, it's too strong now. So an overlay mode was the right thing to do, because what an overlay mode did, let me put it back on normal. Look what, whoops, let me go back. Let me put it from overlay to normal and then flip back and forth. So watch, there's overlay to normal, all right? Now, overlay, I actually have the tone closer. It looks more muddy, if that's a better, good way to say it. It looks muddy on this one. Look and see if I command, or if I put the, I'm sorry, if I put the layer back on overlay, look at how that's just way too strong. It's not got a sun glow on it, it's got a muted skin tone. So let's go back to normal, and I'm going to paint on top of it, okay? I could always really hit it harder like this, and then just take away a little bit of the opacity on it, and it'll melt into the tone that's there. So let me see about that color. Yes, that color is right on. Let's now come across this part of the finger. Before the highlight gets in there, I need to put in this medium yellow tone here. Now let's go across here. Let's put in this yellow tone right across here, and then of course this one straight down this finger right there. And there's more yellow tone back here, so let's go not to the highlight one, let's go to this one and kind of flood it in that area a little bit. Let's go back here and grab this reddish yellow tone and put it back on the finger here. Let's put it back on the finger here. Now you can see how I've started that yellow tone right there. Let me keep on going. Let me grab that tone, let me turn this off, and let me flood this. Okay, you might not be able to see it in the movie, but on my screen that's turning out just beautiful. Now let's come up to the finger here, and let's now paint in this yellow tone across here. Boom, 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 boom. You get really good at feeling how much paint is going on. Again, I'm going to say, don't worry about it. That's what layer masks are for. Okay, now look at how nicely I've laid in that tone here and here. On this back of the finger right there, I need to come in with this. Now I'm going to zoom in, and I want to start getting these little tones. So I'm going to go to a small brush, smaller brush. I'm going to grab this tone, and I'm going to start to just isolate out this area. So I'm going to start to get a little bit more definitive, maybe, you know, with smaller strokes. Look at how now I'm laying in that yellow tone here. That I have the right yellow tone. Wait till I actually come in with this dark tone. Now I don't want to put this on this layer. I want to put this on a higher layer. So let's come through here, and let's grab this yellowish tone and just curl it right around like this. Boom, boom, boom. Now let's look and see what's happening. Okay, that's not bad. I could get a little bit more definitive with that color. Let's start getting a little bit deeper. A little bit too deep, Mr. Sorio. Let's go back to this tone right here. And now let me just, there we go. Now let's flood that in here. Let's come back like this. That actually comes up the finger a little bit here. Let's go to the other side. Let's grab this tone. And we know that that tone goes all the way through here. Let's now look and see, have we given those areas a basis for that color? Yes, we have. Let's come in here, smaller brush. Let's now draw this little area out. I can freehand this. If you need to make a selection of the finger, then go ahead, but that's why we work on different layers. So now let's just flood this in here, and that's why we use, again, layer masks. So if I put on too much, I can just take it away. You see that yellow actually comes across this right here. So I'm going to make the brush bigger I said. And let's come across here like this, and let's flood this into here. I think I'm going to stop this movie, and I'm going to go into the very next thing is going to be to start the texture. But let's back off, and let's see if you think that I have a pretty decent foundation. I didn't say all the colors yet. I'll do one more little thing on this finger. I would like to go down to my Wrinkles 3. And on my Wrinkles 3, I want to put in this dark tone. So I'm going to put in my brush this dark tone right there. I'm going to make a selection of the hand. I'm going to subtract the fingers that they are. It's fingers 2, so I Command Option or Control Alt Subtract. Now I want to just come right on Wrinkles 3, and I want to start laying in this dark. So let me hit Command H, and I didn't really give it a feather because I'm not coming towards that edge a whole bunch. So let me come up like this. Now I'm going to turn this off. See, it's this value. Can you see the one? You know what? The reason why it's not going in is because the yellow value is over it. So I have to go up to the highest part, and I'm going to say, make sure there's nothing on that layer. I'm going to say Wrinkles 4. Now, watch when a second ago it didn't look like I was painting much. Look at how I am definitely now putting tone. I'm not putting any tone there. Let me hit Command H and see. Yes, I should be totally putting tone there. Okay, making sure that I am. Let me get darker with it. Okay, don't know why that's not coming up yet. Did I put this on an overlay? No, that is correct. Wrinkles 4 should be coming in. Let me grab a darker tone. I'm just going to put a darker tone right there. All right, there's a reason why, and I'm not quite sure yet what the reason is. Sometimes it's just deselecting and making a new selection of the shape. That's sometimes all I have to do. And let me hit Command H to hide that. And now let's paint on this one. Yeah, for whatever reason, I don't know. Sometimes it's just good to make a fresh selection. So now I don't want to blast the color on this. I want to be a little bit more careful with what I'm doing. And I just want to round off that wrinkle or the knuckle area on that hand. And you can see how I'm doing that quite nicely here. And now let's look at the reference and see if I need to come across like this. Yes, I obviously did. I think the whole front of that finger, needs to darken. Just get it ready for the fingernail. Okay, and this definitely needs to darken right through here, right through where the fingernail is. So if I come across here like this, I now pretty much have that area designated where that's going to help me bring off that dark. And then that'll look pretty when I come in like this and get that slightly darker and then work my way down. Let's actually get slightly darker with that and just build the foundation for that fingernail. So let me come across here and down here. Okay, that's looking good. Okay, that's looking real good there. And now let's do a little bit more on this one. Now I obviously have the other fingers, so I need to go the other fingers, hit Command H, and now I want to lay in this a little bit stronger here. Let's go see what I'm doing. I know I'm going really far over on this movie, but I'm still going to work at it and see if it's all right. And let's come down here like this, come back here like this. I'm starting to work higher layers and smaller shapes, although not my smallest shapes. There, you can see how that is starting to work out. A little bit more of this red is now working its way that way. Oh, that's nice. That's real nice. Now let's get back on it and let's see, and then I definitely should go to a different movie. So let me turn off this and look at it and say, you know, I'm getting there. The colors are right. Now, I'll see you in the next movie and we'll do the wrinkles and the texture on the fingers. And then I'm going to have a bunch of fixed layers.